entails, the amount of support.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay, looking clean with the button up over there. My man looking fresh. We got Emilio in Tennessee. I'm just glad he's got a shirt on. We got Jacob in Wisconsin as well, doing what Jacob does, which is obviously take the chat off the rails. Everybody's excited about Brenton Cox Jr. being back. And Jacob, please, sir, be very careful with putting the comments on the stream tonight. All right.
It's so hard not to, though.
It's so hard not to. Of course you would say that, right? So anyway, we're going to talk tonight. Packers, Bears, obviously it's on the eve. This is going to be an awesome game to watch tomorrow. We're going to learn a lot more about this Packers team, and I think a lot more about the Bears too. It's going to be exciting because both teams have a lot of injuries, right? Packers are pretty banged up. We just lost arguably our best player on the roster in Micah Parsons. We've got, 33 people listed as questionable, it seems like, right? And, of course, the Bears just lost their top two wide receivers. They are declared out in Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to break this down into two segments tonight. We're going to go about 20 minutes talking Packers offense against Chicago's defense. We want the chat to be involved, all right, as heavily as possible. Want to get your all's take. Again, first part, Packers offense against the Bears defense, and then in the last 20 minutes of the show, we'll go Packers defense and how they match up against the Chicago Bears offense. Before we do, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for us, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit that like button, click subscribe, and click the bell icon so you're notified whenever we do these streams here in the near future. Gents, how are we feeling about this game? Let's just get initial thoughts on the game, and then we'll jump right into Packers offense. I don't care who goes first. How are we feeling about this matchup against the Bears tomorrow?
I'm feeling great. The whole NFL world thinks that, oh, man, we're in trouble. We're going into Chicago. We're going to lose. We've got all these injuries. We're going to put belt to ass in about 24 hours on the nose, and I'm looking forward to it. How do you guys feel?
Belt to ass. BTA. Know what I'm saying?
How do you think, Emilio?
Yeah, I think the Bears better.
Get ready to go.
Because, we got I like our chances. I really do. This team's a fighter. I think you're going to get a lot out of them. Back against the wall sort of thing. But it's not like they're not in great position. Like, we forget that they're, 80%, 90% chance of getting into the playoffs? Like, the season isn't over because you lost one. You lost a lot before. It's just moving forward from that. And was it August 27th was the day that we, before then we were already planning on having this defense. So I'm ready to see it.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think that's a good point, Emilio. I was listening to a presser where they were talking to Hafley from a couple days ago, talking like, when you had to first prepare for the last basically 8 months, you didn't know you were going to have a Micah Parsons on this team. Can you use any of that information going forward and kind of game plan like you would have without him? And he said, oh, hell yeah, I will. And I'm not going to tell you anything about what I'm going to do. So he's a funny guy, man. I really love his press conferences. But that's a really good point. And we all forget about that. We went back and forth on this podcast whether it was even a realm of a possibility. And then when that news broke, I think that's what made us all so shocked and so excited, is because we were ready to go with the squad we had. And I think these guys have something to prove. I think that they're sick, honestly, in the best way possible from, I'm sure they're friends with Micah and obviously they're teammates and they respect the hell out of him. They want to go out there and plant their own flag and say, this is our team. We can still do this. We don't need one man to help save us. So
I think it's all very well said. And again, these guys have every reason to go out there and want to dominate, right? Because all of a sudden, nobody's giving them a chance, just like you guys were saying, right? It's now, okay, what are you going to do without Mike? And I don't know what we did last year where we finished 5th in scoring. I'm in a private chat, like another chat, and I was so surprised with Packer fans. There's a bunch of people in there. Packer fans talking about, man, I hope we ain't bad like we were last year on defense. I'm like, are we even did we watch the same team last year?
Does anybody even read the banner at the bottom? I mean, like, we still have a tattoo that's got to go down because the defense played so well. You know what I'm saying?
Point. It's a great point, Emilio. Joe Pack Joe in the chat says, y'all don't get mad, but I don't know if I care if we win or not. Hear me out. We rest people, right, this week because we got a bunch of injuries, right? Make sure we don't play anybody out there at 80% and lose them for the rest of the year. The Bears win this game. They're on top of the world. They lose to the 49ers and the Lions. We win to the Ravens and the Vikings, and we take the North anyways. How awesome would that be? So I think that's a great point there. Any thoughts on that, gents?
Yeah, that's fair. But that being said, belt to ass tomorrow night in Chicago. Let's go.
All right. Jacob?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Classroom, sir?
No, Emilio's basically passing notes behind the teacher's back here. I mean, I agree with that. Any given Sunday, you're right. It'd be nice maybe to look at that playoff simulator type thing if we have time and just see how it could work out in certain situations. But if we can't do that, that's fine. But like, I mean, it is crazy to think about how these last couple of weeks have completely shifted. I don't know about you guys, but I thought that game last night was absolutely incredible to watch. It seems as you get longer, deeper into the season, these games just come down to the wire. Some great refereeing as well. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh, boy, it's bad. I reckon Matthew Stafford's wife hit the Twitter and hit the podcast airwaves, I guess, talking about how bad the officials were. So that's going to be an interesting conversation for the next week. Packer Doug in the chat. To Clay's point earlier in the day and to Joe's post above, do you play a guy at 85 to 90% and risk re-injury for this W, or do you give extra rest and ball out for the last regular season games? My issue is, if a guy's going out there at 85 or 90%, is your backup better than them, right? That's one of the issues. And then to what Doug's saying, I made my opinion pretty well known earlier today. This game doesn't mean crap to me. I thought I said a real bad word. It doesn't mean anything to me. Because, again, the goal is to win a Lombardi. What gives you the best chance to win a Lombardi? To be as healthy as possible going into the playoffs. Now, if guys are 100%, you put them out there. I'm not saying you sit starters going, this game doesn't matter. But if a guy's banged up and you're risking further injuring them even worse, and now you're going to go into the playoffs limping around with, 75% of your roster, I'm sorry, man. This game is not that important to me if that's going to be the goal. So I don't know if you guys got anything to add to that. That's basically what I was saying earlier today that he's referencing on the show.
Yeah, my only thought on that, Clay, would be, sort of the fact of if you win the North, you get home field advantage. You at least get a chance to hold your. I would rather put a little bit more faith in my team and say, I believe in the Packers rather than leaning on other teams having to beat the Bears to get us to that point of winning the North. So that would be my only sort of pushback. You can shut them up. We're already 4-0 in the division, which is a flip from 1-5 last year. So you might as well keep the pedal down. You go 5-0, 5-1, 6-0. You're done. You got home field advantage. I think that maybe that could help the defense. Our offense wouldn't have to worry. We already have enough problems with silent count and stuff. Get us through one game, get your feet in, and kind of go from there. That'd be my only pushback on it.
Got it. Anything else on that, boys? We good?
I would agree with that statement. I mean, don't depend on help that you may or may not get from other teams in this league. We've seen it, week in and week out. But I'm also kind of in the middle. I'm with you, Clay. Like, if we don't set ourselves back 2 or 3 weeks with injuries in this game, I'm all for sitting guys that are kind of on the bubble, But end of the day, it's Packers Bears, right? You want to beat the Bears and you want to beat them in their building, and you want to control what you can control, which is winning ball games. So I'm somewhere in the middle on this, I guess.
Got it.
If it's me, I got the foot on their throat. I want to I want to take the North. I want to make the Bears just absolutely intimidated and demoralized. I want Caleb Williams to eat his own hat. I want Ben Johnson just to absolutely tuck tail, walk out of there, and have to explain to the press conferences why he absolutely crapped the bed against the Packers when he was talking all that jazz at the beginning. So I say do anything to win the game within reason. I think that, play those guys until I doubt any players are going to tell you they need to come out, but maybe that'd be the type of relationship that you'd have to tell them, be like, hey, man, when you need to come out, you come tell me that you're done or you need a break, whatever the case may be.
We know they're not going to do that.
They play with a lot of pride and a lot of ego. I would just try to – I think if anybody could get them to admit that, it'd be a guy like Hafley and LaFleur, just kind of making them like, hey, we've ran down this road so many times. We understand that you guys are going to be ballers and you don't want to leave your brothers out there, but think about the next couple weeks and what that could mean for this team in general. Like, think about it that way.
And also think about it, though. Again, you guys are kind of coming from the approach of everybody stays healthy, right? Of course, we want to beat the Bears. Now, if I flip that around and said, all right, we're going with your route, but you've got to agree you're going to lose Evan Williams and Zach Tom for the playoffs. You taking that bet?
I said put
I don't
Zane
know,
in
I'm
there.
not a doctor.
That's a perfect response. You said put Zane in there. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hate to be nitpicky, but I think there's certain positions and certain players where we could probably get away with letting them sit. I think that Evan Williams sitting would be a good idea. I even think that maybe Christian sitting could be a good idea. Jacobs. I trust the backups that we have in those positions. I don't know if I trust our backup tackles, but again, I don't know.
I'll tell you this team, though, it's not like they get a ton of pressure on the quarterback, right? So it does kind of feel like, okay, you could probably go out there with, less of an offense. Now, on defense, they've got one of the on our defensive side of the ball, they've got one of the better offenses in the league. I mean, that's the reality. I was looking through some of the updated numbers there earlier, and in terms of EPA and things like that, I mean, it's pretty impressive. If we were to go just scoring offense here, I won't put it on the screen. I'll just give you guys points per play. Chicago is currently points per play on offense. That's actually defense. Give me just a second here. Total offense, scoring offense. Points per play. Chicago is currently sitting in the 12th spot, right behind us at 11. So, when you look at it from that standpoint and how their offense really matches up against our defense, the big thing is their running game, right? Well, if DeAndre Swift is banged up and he can't, play the normal amount of snaps that he's going to play and tote the rock the way they need him to, it's going to be Monunga. Well, Monunga wear down, and then you get to the third string back and be in a little bit better shape. I'm not as concerned about the offensive line. I would definitely sit Tom. And again, these are the early indicators I got when just combing through all the information, throwing it into an aggregate and saying, all right, man, give me kind of what everybody's saying about these injuries. Watson sounds like he's going to play. It was basically day to day. We dodged a bullet, right? Zach Tom is 1 to 3 weeks is what they're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed, good to go. Evan Williams, 1 to 2 weeks. So it seems like Evan Williams is a little less serious than maybe Tom's in that regard. And of course, Nate Hobbs is back. Josh Jacobs, some people were saying, I said this earlier today, some people were saying he was wearing a brace around the facility and limping all week. And others said, no, it was just a sleeve, but they didn't confirm or deny the limping. So it's like, that doesn't sound good there. So for me, if Josh Jacobs is limping around the facility, I'm sorry, I'm going with E-Will and Chris Brooks there, and let's set him for the week. That's just kind of how I see that. Because their defense, yes, they take the ball away, and Josh Jacobs is important. Don't get me wrong. If you do play him, crucial snaps, crucial downs, maybe get him out there and just try to do what you can. So yeah.
Or do you hold him out and activate Pierre Strong again, and then maybe Chris Brooks provide some depth as like a pseudo tight end in some of these looks in the running game, since we're kind of banged up in the tight end room. Do you think that happens? Because I'm with you. If Josh has to sit out 1 week to be able to be as close to 100% as he can be, fighting down the stretch against Baltimore and Minnesota as we go into the playoffs, I'm down for it. What are your thoughts? Do you think they activate another back?
I think that's the thing. Last week, didn't they do that, Tim? Didn't they call a guy up? Let me mark that there.
Yeah.
Didn't they called a guy up?
Strong Jr. got called up.
But was he inactive on game day, though?
He
right?
was inactive on game day, yeah.
They kind of had him ready. You'll probably have that same approach. And to your all's point earlier, it's like, they've got to be honest with the coaches. Josh Jacobs came out and said this week in the locker room, him and Matt LaFleur have been going at it a little bit because Matt LaFleur is trying to be conservative with Josh, and Josh is just refusing to
He's
sit.
always been like that. He's got his foot on the gas all the time. That's the way he plays. That's the way he carries himself. He only missed that one game. I would put more money on Josh playing this weekend than him not.
Yeah. And then to Packer Doug's comment here, he says, we're a month away from the playoffs and a bit of a softer schedule with Baltimore and Minnesota. I've heard that our game with Baltimore has zero bearing on Baltimore's chances. They might rest, and Minnesota Super Bowl is toast, I think is what he's saying there. So with Baltimore, the interesting thing there is if Pittsburgh loses to the Lions this week, right, and Baltimore wins, then they're right back in it. Now, if Baltimore loses this week, Pittsburgh wins, I don't think they're going to be statistically, mathematically eliminated yet, but it's going to be obviously everything's got to go their way. So I personally don't see a scenario, and I could be wrong. You guys correct me in the chat. If you know, Bates may know this. I don't see a scenario where Baltimore sits their starters against us. I hope I'm wrong there because that would be absolutely awesome. But even those backups that may come in, when you say sit the starters, I mean, they're playing for their career too, right? It's not like they're going to go out there and, okay, well, the season's over, right? So, again, man, for me, it's about the end goal, and that's winning the Lombardi, whatever makes the most sense for you. Yeah. All right. So what is this?
Joe Peck Joe said Jacobs confirmed he's wearing a TENS bracelet for nerve stimulation, and the knee brace helps hasten the recovery. So, like the thing that they wrap it and it gives those shocks and stuff, stimulation. I did that on my ACL after surgery and stuff. But then also sometimes they have like the ice wrap that goes around it too, that just like runs ice cold water through it and circulates it.
Yeah. And Bates said, I can't imagine they do talking about Baltimore. They're only one game down from Pitt.
Yeah.
Their division. So, yeah, there you go. All right, let's talk about the Packers offense against the Bears defense. Let's just go to the PFF preview for a second here and take a quick gander. Hopefully you guys can see that all right. I don't know why that's gotten wonky on us here lately. But anyway, so the big thing here, I mean, we talk about Josh Jacobs potentially missing this game. I mean, my goodness, man, 89.4 is the third highest graded running back right now. Jordan Love, 89.3 is the second highest graded quarterback. Of course, Zach Thomas listed in this lineup. You're going to be missing the eighth highest graded offensive tackle in the National Football League. The offensive line obviously has been really, really rough to watch outside of Zach Tom. Rasheed Walker probably been our second best offensive lineman. After that, I feel comfortable saying Sean Ryan is significantly better than Aaron Banks at this point, at least doing his job. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but with their defensive front and what they're showing right now, listen, it's not a great front. You know, Sweat obviously is their best pass rusher at 68.9. You got Dexter Sr. at a 57.1, Jared at 56 in the middle, and then opposite of Sweat on the edge, they're showing Booker at a 61.5. So we just kind of match up well against the Bears, if that makes sense. And really, what happened the last time we played? They came roaring back in the second half, right? And Ben Johnson made some second half adjustments. So now, do they start the game like that? And to bringing it back to our offense against our defense, how do we start this game? Do we, that second half, we probably slowed down just a touch. I would imagine we kind of came out on fire, if I remember correctly. So do you go back to what you were doing in the first half, or do you just start the game with what your second half adjustment was, knowing they're probably going to try to go that same route as well? But how do you guys feel about our offense matching up against our defense? Y'all just take the floor.
Well, I mean, you guys correct me in the chat. Emmanuel Wilson should be healthy for this game, right?
Yeah, he should be over the illness by now, I would imagine.
Okay.
So, Tim, he gave it to somebody else. Or I say he gave it to somebody else. Someone else is sick now, right, Tim? Who was it? Do you remember who that was?
I forgot, but yeah, it's going around. I was a little congested myself this morning when I woke up, something. It's that time of year, right?
You're going to run that pro shop, ain't you? That's what's
maybe once or twice in and out,
Yeah. He was at the Oval Office. That's where he got it. But anyways, if Emmanuel Wilson, I feel like if we could initially try to set up the run game, I mean, offensive line has obviously not been playing great, but against that type of front, I would hope that maybe we could get the upper hand. And if we could start some momentum and if Emmanuel Wilson is just running on all cylinders, I think that makes it easier to maybe take Josh. And even if he plays limited snaps, just really, if we don't need him, don't force it kind of thing. If we go out there and we're pounding the rock, if the tight ends are blocking well, it's almost the same thing in the pass game. If Agent Zero is out there and doing his thing, if Dobby's doing his thing, if we can get some help from some of the other backups there and we just really are moving, I just feel like, okay, let's leave these boys on the bench. Just tell them, thanks for your service. We appreciate the willingness of you ready to go. But at the end of the day, let's just be smart. Don't take your foot off the gas, right? We want to finish this out with a win and a convincing one, but that's just the way I would handle it.
Yeah, and everybody's confirming in the chat that he gave it to Enigbare. JJ's the one that's sick. So there you go. I want to hit this one. Amelia, we'll get your take on this and just any other thoughts you got on the offense here. Brother Blood says, also, how do you feel about Golden being utilized this game, potentially a dangerous weapon for us? I think Golden is ready to break out. I think he's playing great football. But the issue is Christian Watson seems to be fully healthy. He's good to go, right, Emilio? So Matthew Golden, what I would like to see, and this might not be a popular opinion, I would personally like to see Matthew Golden. If all these guys are healthy, I want to see him playing X and Romeo Doubs coming in off the bench into that X spot. And then, of course, if Reed were to go down with an injury, then Golden kicks to the F. And Dobbs goes back to X, right? And if Christian goes down with an injury, then Golden goes to the speed Z, and Jaden Reeves stay in the F, Dobby back to the X. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
I'm right there with you, Clay. I was kind of the other way around. I'd like to see a little bit of Golden in the slot, considering how many times CJ Gardner-Johnson got his ass cooked the last time we played this team. It would be nice to see MG being the one doing the cooking there. But I'm with you, though. Like, if you've got everybody as close to 100% as possible, and you've got, a guy like Golden that can be a rotational guy, maybe it is time to put him out there on the outside and let Rome rotate in and, give guys a breather when you need it. Same thing with, like you said, with Bird. Like, he's just back from injury. We don't know what's going on there. Long term, he looked good last week. But I like the idea of Matthew Golden being worked into the mix a little bit more targets. And like you said, Clay, X, Z, put him at the Y. I don't care. Get him on the field. Let's go.
Yeah. No, to those points, that's exactly it. With Coach Lynn, same thing. Dobbs, less reps, please. Dobbs, I want in the red zone. That's fair, Coach. Absolutely. I think you can kind of work out even rep across the board with them. I'm still waiting for Matt to start bringing out some 10 personnel. Like, I feel like we have more skill, a little bit more depth in the wide receiver room than we do in the tight end room, but we're still leaning on 12 and, 11 and once in a while 13 when Wiley was in there, which I love. I love that we're able to use him as the, the F because he's the move tight end, all that stuff. But I feel like we have more skill at wide receiver. Spread them out, get out of nasty for a little bit. Because one, that would be a tendency change. You're going to catch the Bears maybe off guard a little bit if you get outside the numbers, maybe a wide look here and there. But then you also I'm ready for Jordan Love to spin that thing. Just give him a chance. If Josh Jacobs is down, we don't need to be running him in the ground. Yeah, if he's going off, Matt needs to remember to keep giving him the carries and giving him the looks, but let Jordan spin it. And if you're in 10 personnel, maybe you can get some quicker release routes, some flats, some speed outs, little things that you didn't have in those longer developing, nasty splits and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Emilio's ready for that big Mike McCarthy spread them out.
I'm ready, Tim. I've been waiting,
baby. Let's go.
That would be fun.
I'm glad you bring up Wiley, Emilio, because he is out this game, right? So that's you're probably gonna live in 11 personnel, I would imagine. Jacob, will you any thoughts on this one?
I like what Michael's Diesel Train says. Golden skill set is peaking right now with their D and having a layered offense. We could see J Love cooking, kind of to Emilio's point. I like that idea, Emilio. I just feel like that he is so speedy. To Michael's point there, I think that he is starting to get that confidence. After that Denver game, people said that he just had a different kind of light about him. I feel like as we get him more targets, he's going to get more involved in the offense. But to that point, I also like what Coach Len talked about with Dobby kind of, I don't want to say playing less reps, but just more specified reps. I saw somebody else here, Joe Pack Joe, saying how on every third down, I want Dobbs to just run to the marker. That won't on him on that touchdown Moss. I don't know exactly what the last part means, but I think he means throw him towards the red zone in key situations because he just seems like his hands are so good on third downs. I really love that about his game, but trying to pepper in some more of the young man, Mr. Golden, I think that's a great game plan.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Can I say one last thing too?
Yeah, man.
Because where the betting markets are, it's a little interesting. They've got Christian Watson as their leading receiver at 54.5 yards. They also have Josh Jacobs as the only running back slated. They have nobody else with any kind of over-under. Usually the day before the game, they'll at least start peppering in some other backups and that sort of stuff. So to me, that's a little interesting.
It is very wild because I would be screaming probably hammer the under on Jacobs, seeing that everybody that's reported coming out of Green Bay, they're kind of I don't know, hinting at maybe Jacobs won't go. I think Rob Domofsky said on a Chicago radio show, if I read the tweet correctly, that he felt like he's more doubtful than he is probable. That makes sense. So maybe 70-30, maybe 60-40 that he won't play. So just going to be interesting, man, for sure. So looking at the rest of this and how they match up. Obviously our wide receiver is going to be a strength. Christian Watson, 85.4. He's the seventh highest graded receiver. You got Jaden Reed in the 77.9. And of course, Dobby at a 67. I think our boy Matthew Golden is grading out as a 69-ish, somewhere around in there. And then when you look at their DBs here, you got Wright, 65, Gardner Johnson, 53 in the slot, Johnson, 57.9, Brisker at safety at 58.9. Bayard is definitely their best DB according to PFF, grading out as 75.6 at the moment. So you really like the way your receivers match up against this Bears defense, but also they take the ball away a lot, right? So they lead the league in turnover margin. So you got to be, I don't want to say careful. I mean, think of the interception that Jordan threw before. They didn't do anything special there, right? Jordan kind of got caught in between. Should I hammer Golden in the seam, or should I go underneath on the angle route? And he kind of just airmailed it over the angle route, in my opinion, threw it right to the defender. I don't feel like, wow, this Bears defense, they're ball hawks. But at the same time, like Emilio, you look throughout this season, they continue to take the ball away. Sooner or later, I've got to be like, okay, they're just good at it, right?
Yeah, no, it's I mean, and because they keep turning it over, the fact that it really hasn't kind of teetered off or anything, they've been staying rather consistent on a hardly consistent basis of interceptions. There's no guarantee you're getting those each game. But yeah, I pulled up Golden's grade. 69.7 is his offensive grade, 70.3 pass grade, 60 run, 51.8 run blocking. It's had 355 snaps so far this year. Not a bad number for a rookie, but I think now that the season's got on further, he knows more of the offense. He's learned more. He's got little things here. He worked on a timing here and there with love and practice. All those things pile up, and it's just about getting everybody ready for the playoffs. All those reps for everybody before this is in preparation for it. So if you can keep, getting them hot, peaking, or trying to climb to the top of the roller coaster, whatever it is, as you're coming into the playoffs, I think you're in good shape with them.
Yeah, definitely. Now, again, the strength of their defense, however, is their linebacking core. You've got DeMarco Jackson grading out at 83.8. Here's a guy that's gotten better every year he's been in the league. Minimal snaps the first 2 years. The 5th highest graded linebacker in the league in DeMarco Jackson, former 5th-round pick out of Appy State. Right down the road. Absolutely wild. They said, listen, if football don't work out, we can run moonshine, baby. And then next to him, you got TJ Edwards at a 77.6. Now, keep in mind, Tremont Edmonds, I think he's trending towards playing, I believe. DeAndre Swift, to me, looked like he's really up in the air, but Edmonds, I think, will be good to go. They don't have him listed here. Let's see if we go to the base. Does he pop up? He does not. So PFF should give you the option to add in the players you want to add in to kind of make a mock lineup. I don't know why they don't do that, but yeah. So
that was kind of my question on our O-line was, who do you think is going to get the nod at right tackle over Zach Tom this week?
I think it's got to be Darian Kennard, right, Tim? Don't you think, man? That's what it kind of feels like to me. Again, he's the one who got the reps. Now, well, I'm glad it's good that you brought that up, Tim, because in practice this week they said that Jordan Morgan was working there, right? So it was Jordan Morgan and Darian Kennard that were kind of competing at right tackle. So it'll probably be one of those two guys, I would imagine, Tim. You're either going to see Kennard or you're going to see
they need to work Jordan Morgan in at left guard. The hell with the right side.
Telling you, man.
I agree.
Yeah. The Banks show is just, man, it is – that chalk talk was it was the breaking point for me. I'm just like, my goodness, this dude is on skates every single freaking play. Like, I don't get it. But anything else y'all want to hit with our offense against our defense? Anything at all before we move on?
I think the ball needs to come out quick. I understand the Bears front is not the Denver Broncos front, but the way this O-line is banged up and the way, we've had to watch Jay Money getting picked up off the turf play after play, I think there needs to be a point of emphasis on getting the ball out quick in the pass game. And at least having enough of a run presence that you keep that Bears, defense honest up front. But I'd like to see a little bit of, not necessarily tempo, but, an effort to get to that first or second read. If it's there, throw the ball. Because if you stand in the pocket and ball pat with this whole line, we could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Anything else, boys? We good?
Just real quick, I would love to see, because the narrative, I think they're going to be highlighting and absolutely just glazing Mr. Colston Loveland. With all due respect, he's a great, rookie tight end. It'd be great. Wouldn't that be cool if we came in there and Luke Musgrave had like a 4 or 5 catch day for maybe 50, 60 yards and a tut or two? That would absolutely make my day. We've been seeing how the connection with him and Love are just about getting there. I mean, there was the year prior where it seemed like they couldn't buy a catch, and if they did, he couldn't stay on his feet. That's kind of been his MO. And it seems lately they are just about an inch or two away from it just being a perfect ball in stride. I think he would have scored on that one that we did in Chalk Talk earlier yesterday. I'd love to see that narrative flipped.
Yeah, it's a great point because and how do we utilize them? We always try to talk specifics on this particular channel. We came out in 12 personnel, strong left, twin right. He was the Y tight end, if I remember correctly. So he's attached. Okay, he's a traditional tight end, and they ran a cross corner concept, right? Both guys cross corners, which they're faking a crossers concept, which is a man beater, and then you put that on tape all year, and then you turn that into 2 corner routes. Musgrave was butt naked in the trailer park. I think they're going to continue to utilize him like that. I agree, Jacob. That would be absolutely awesome if all of a sudden you looked up and everybody goes, damn, Luke Musgrave outplayed Colston Loveland. Now we're going to talk Loveland here in a minute. And let me tell you, boys, he's looking good. He's looking like the real deal. So we'll break that down in a second. But anything else on offense? Are we good? Emilio, you got anything else, bud? You good?
Yeah, good. Little 10 personnel, Matt. That's all I'm asking for.
Emilio looking for those 4 wide receiver sets for sure.
I'll take a 0-0 too. I don't care.
I seen people in the chat talking about it. Was it Joe Pack Joe said he wants to see more of the 4 wide receiver stuff or whatever? Or I think he mentioned here we go. Let's see here. He says, I missed Chalk Talk. Did Clayton cover the 4 receiver split? I don't know if it was all wide receivers or not, but I remember Denver was lost as hell. There was no plays that made Chalk Talk where it was 10 personnel, 4 wide receivers. Now, you did have the Y flexed out, which is what we talked about doing with Musgrave, right? We had the Y at the 1 several times. So that's probably what you're referring to there, Joe. And again, when you spread them out like that, it is. I agree with Emilio. It's a nice little change.
Because you're trying to get them to go into dime or a penny package or something. You want them to bring out an extra DB so that they're more worried about the pass. Then maybe it opens up the run a little bit, spread it out. I mean, yeah, if it doesn't work, fine. All right, we gave it a shot. But I think Matt just needs to sprinkle it in here and there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Very, very carefully though, right? 0-0. I mean, my goodness, we just talked
wide. Five wide.
We just talked about this whole line. If we don't have a back there to chip or at least get in the way, I get a little concerned. But to your point, you're not saying this is your approach offensively. You're saying pepper this in here and there, and
just to see what you get in the look, Tim. You never
I agree. You never know.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. So there you go. Packers offense against Chicago's defense. If you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the Packers matching up against the Chicago Bears defense? Obviously played them 2 weeks ago. We want to hear from you in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified when this channel goes live. All right, let's switch gears to defense now, boys. Same thing. We'll just kind of open it up here on defense. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go around the horn here real quick. Jacob, you kind of already talked a little bit about Colston Loveland. Is that the direction you want to go? Is there anything at the forefront of your mind in terms of the Chicago Bears offense matching up against the Green Bay Packer defense here?
I mean, I think that the obvious highlight and the big talking point is going to be, can the Packers edge room do anything without Micah Parsons? I really do have a weird amount of confidence that they can find a way just with the rotation. Not going to make any puns, but you guys know how much I love Cox. He's coming back. And the fact that Enigbare, even if he's playing with an illness, I believe, is LVN going to try to take a shot at it, or is he still up in the air?
LVN?
He's been working back for weeks, right?
Yeah, but it just seems like
I think.
Yeah, it seems like he can't play. Didn't he have only like 5 or 6 plays last game or something like that? And
he was listed as limited on the injury report, but the status is unspecified, which typically means they're playing. So they're good to go. So, yeah, he should be good to go.
I mean, just between them and just a bunch of that young rotation, I think Barron Sorrell, talk about a young guy that could all of a sudden spring into the spotlight and absolutely, again, like I don't think that anybody's going to ever be able to play up to the caliber of a Micah Parsons. That's just not realistic to ask, but you could have parts and players, and on certain situations, I think if a guy like Hafley, if anybody can do it, it's a coach like Hafley that can play a chess piece kind of, but I really want the defensive line to focus more on containing Williams inside, not letting him get outside that pocket, and then stopping the run. I think that's the biggest thing if I'm going, and that's my game plan.
Got it. Well, it's funny you brought up LVN. So let's kind of look at this. I know we're getting Brenton Cox Jr. back. I walked back to 2024 and looked at the NFL Pro data. Brenton Cox Jr. actually led the team in pressure percentage. That was more than Gary was right behind him. And what's crazy is on the earlier stream today, I broke it down. If he had the same amount of snaps as Rashawn Gary and the other guys. Basically, if he'd had 400 snaps at the edge position, he was on pace to have 16 sacks last year. That's how effective he was. Almost 14% quarterback pressure rate as well. But to your point about Lucas Van Ness, 70.9 on the season so far here, right? And he's also, if I were to just take a quick look here, actually don't have it pulled up at the moment. I was going to see exactly where he's at this year in terms of pressure percentage. I know we talked about it a couple of episodes ago here on the show. When you go quarterback pressure percentage, individual leaders on the Packers team, Lucas Van Ness is sitting at 12.4% currently. So I think LVN is set to break out, to be honest with you. I really do. And he's going to get his opportunity now for sure. You guys remember he was frustrated at the first of the year when they traded for Micah Parsons, and Micah being the great leader he is, he immediately stepped in and said, he started bragging on LVN, like, man, that bull rush in the middles was freeing us up and this and that. He really, that's just Micah being a pro's pro, obviously. But yeah, I think people think that Kingsley Enagbare is playing at the level that LVN actually has when he's healthy. And I really believe that. I think that LVN is significantly better than Enagbare. Let's go around the horn with that real quick, since that's kind of the direction the conversation went.
Ooh. I would agree with that. No, I would totally agree with that. But we don't know. We haven't seen a full-on healthy LVN yet this season. Time will tell. I will say this, just overall, when it comes to, pass rush versus, stopping the run, we're down our best pass rusher, obviously. There's been some hits to that D line, but the Chicago Bears are not a team that you have to blitz all day long. This is a team that you have to account for the run. And I like LVN against the run. I like Rashawn Gary against the run. I like Carl Brooks against the run. I think there are pieces out here that can help us secure a win, because it's not about a guy teeing off on an edge rush all day long. It's about, like, kind of to Jacob's point, keep Caleb in the well, don't allow him to get mobile on you, and account for that running attack from the Chicago Bears. I mean, the Bears are down 2 receivers, right? They're arguably their best 2 receivers right now going into this game. So, if you're concerned about the pass rush with, the absence of Micah Parsons, I'm there with you. But I think tomorrow night it's not going to be that much of a point of emphasis. I think we need to just play well against the run.
Yeah, and Emilio, what he's saying there, man, obviously not having Evan Williams potentially playing this game, his run defense at 83.2, that's going to be a huge missing factor there, right?
Yeah, not worried about Evan Spurn down. So with him out, what are you going to do? How are you going to replace it? What's Nate Hobbs going to be? Is he going in there? Is Bull dropping back into safety, or is Bull staying up there and is Zane staying in? Just a couple of ways to switch it around there. But yeah, you're right. He beat us on some scrambles last time, couple first downs on some runs, couple on some passes, and it's just, I think that's where the defense struggles a little bit is when they when it's broken down 4 or 5 seconds later. You saw what happened with Bo. We just need to kind of lock that down, and they were saying, you just got to contain him in the pocket. So many times he just ran right around him. Just pin him in. I don't know. We got to do something. Go vertical. Everyone just stay across in a straight line or something. I don't know.
Yeah, don't get yourself washed out. That's the main thing for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about you getting there in 2 seconds. I need you to hold formation or whatever phalanx we want to do to keep him contained. Try to wall off one side, force him one way, whatever it is.
So, Emilio, to that point, Joe is asking that question that kind of leads me to my question. So, can we designate one player to hit Caleb every play, no matter what? Play action, boot, just pop him every play until you miss and there's a flag, but he won't do it again. To that credit, and knowing that if we want to try to stop the run and also with the limit from our pass rush that we have, is there a certain type of formation or package that you would implement that would maybe free up a linebacker spy or something that would give you a more of a kind of edge contain? Is there a certain formation that comes and pops? If you're on playing Madden and you got to stop a mobile quarterback, what are you going with? Does that make sense?
This is a Madden comment, I will say.
This is. Yeah. Your 2 options. If that's the case, Jacob, we're probably only rushing 3. If you're doing that, so I'm either sitting in my 3-3-5, or maybe an odd ghost or something like that, or a 3-2-6. And but then again, who's the player that's going to have to keep up with them? It's probably Coop or Quay. I mean, you could do Bull, but besides that, it's probably one of those three that would have to, lock off on him. And still, even when you saw Evan come in off that corner blitz, he engaged a running back. Caleb still slipped out. So it's like, I feel like it's almost more, you'd be more beneficial trying to force him. Yeah, that's it. Trying to force him one way or straight up keep him in the pocket, like just slowly move forward in a straight line, kind of like inch him back and see what he can do. Because if he runs, then we can kind of go to it. I feel like it's kind of tough to send someone back there each time.
I agree.
If you just trigger Tim, like he's saying, all right, you're the guy, no matter if they hand the ball off or not, you just go hit Caleb every play. You're going to be minus hat count all day long.
You're playing with one arm tied behind your back all day long. If anything, you want the opposite approach, right? Like I'd rather not spy. I would rather keep everything in front of us and let him stand back there and prance around and pat the ball with his pretty fingernails and try and figure out, where he's going to go with it, as opposed to sending guys up the middle or off the edge, whether it's a blitz or not, or a spy, maybe touch spy might work. But I'm not interested. I'm not interested in dedicating one guy to Caleb Williams all day, because I mean, you can go back in time. You talk about mobile quarterbacks. I mean, we've got tape of Michael Vick lighting that coverage up all day, left and right. I mean, if you're gonna, dedicate one man, and he knows it, he knows that, like you said, Clayton, to your point, you're going to be -1 in the hat count, and he's going to hit that open guy. We know Caleb has an arm, so I would rather not see him using that arm when he's mobile, which is when he's at his best. I'd rather see him back there trying to read a defense. And, hopefully we disguise our coverages and make it tough on him, because that will tilt the balance in this game. If you give him those sugar looks and you're able to, switch personnel and switch, coverages on him and keep him in that pocket, I think that bodes well for our defense against this Bears team right now.
For me, the answer is, okay, first of all, what do they do well? What does the Chicago Bears offense do good? What's the answer? Scramble. So you think scramble?
Run the ball.
Run the ball, right? I think it's their running game first and foremost, and Caleb outside of the pocket. So you're both are right there where I'm at, right? So what's the answer to stopping both of those things at the same time? It's a cage rush. Nobody wants to hear this. They just want, we're going to blitz them. I've heard all week, it's drove me crazy. Yeah, they're going to play more man coverage and they're going to blitz. Boy, good luck with that. Okay, imagine Caleb evading you, bringing an extra guy, and now the DBs have their back turned to Caleb, and him running down the field at 21 miles an hour. That doesn't sound good, right? Now, also, rewind, them running the rock, right? If you've got a guy set to spy Caleb and you're playing man coverage or you're trying to blitz and they run their outside stretch, Emilio, when you fire up the middle on an outside stretch, it don't look pretty, right? And they love to play outside. So right there, Lesapio, if I'm saying that right, says contain. Bingo. Cage rush, right? Cage rush with a loaded box. And I want 29. Somebody said it earlier. I want Xavier McKinney's ass in the box as the spur. And that's a little scary, because that means Zane would be playing post, or that means Bull would be playing post, right? And McKinney is a great center fielder. But again, if the goal is to make them play left-handed, load the box with Xavier McKinney as your spur safety and cage rush, which basically means you don't just pin your ears back, take a gap and go. You're cage rushing. You're kind of containing and compressing the pocket. Make Caleb step up into the well and throw the football. What's going to happen is, if you take his first read away, his immediate thought is, eyes down, let me create a secondary window, right? Well, if he goes eyes down, oh, crap, they're containing. I got to step up in the pocket. Now you got the touch spy in the middle. That's the way you stop him, because now he's got to reset and probably throw across the middle late, and you guys know that's a big boo-boo. So what happened last time was he did a good job getting outside of the pocket. You've seen it this last week against Cleveland. That throw to the back of the end zone, guys, that is a generational talent, arm talent throw, where he hit DJ Moore rolling to the right, just an absolute laser. But again, he bought himself 5 to 6 seconds. If you've got a cage rush, he doesn't do that. He has to go 1 to the 2 to the 3, as opposed to 1, oh, he missed me. Now I've got 5 or 6 seconds. You guys scramble. And there's no defense in the league that's going to be able to plaster that long while he's buying that time. So, again, stop the run and bring a cage rush is the way I would attack this. And honestly, without Micah, it kind of feels like we're built to do that this week, right? With Micah, you're going with the Joker looks, right, Tim? You're going with the Joker 3-3-5, Joker 1 look, and it's okay. Let Micah just pin his ears back and go. And if he misses or Caleb is able to avoid him, now you've only got 3 other rushers and there's no cage, right? It's just he's on the edge. He's on the perimeter. So
I agree with you.
I'd be down with caging it with 3 people and just see what happens with Aiden covered. See how he handles that. Shoot, run 2. Only blitz 2 one time and see how he does with 9 in coverage. I feel like my thing with Caleb, not more I think about it, I honestly think he just sees a cleaner picture of the field when he's on the move and he doesn't have a wall of linemen in front of him. He sees the field a lot better. It's like he's just running around, on the field, just messing around. So if you can keep something in between his eyes and the receivers, I'm for it. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to dropping 9 in coverage, see what happens. 2 people rushing.
I found a picture of my call sheet for defense. Here's my call sheet right here. It's my call sheet for tomorrow night right here. Any variations on these are acceptable. Here's my call sheet.
Stay away from match.
Exactly. Give me some buzz. Give me some cloud. I'm there.
Yep. And with the buzz defender, the safety buzz and the hook curl, you want that to be McKinney to help with the run fit for sure.
Yes, sir.
That's the way I would approach that. So, Jacob, you got anything else on this, man? I know you were seemed like you were starting to say something just a second ago. What do you want to add to it, man?
No, not necessarily. I mean, does any of that, if we're running a lot of those coverages, trying to do the cage rush, does that leave any open vulnerabilities for a guy like Loveland or Komet to take advantage of that? Or does that actually help with that sort of player?
I'm glad you bring that up because listen, you talk about the pros of a cage rush, you talk about the pros of a blitz, you talk about all these different, right? There's always a con. The con to a cage rush is the quarterback has more time in the pocket. But as Soder says, Williams does not show great accuracy in the pocket. I mean, when he has to stand in the pocket and throw from within the well, he couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a mop. You see it every time. It's why his completion percentage is in the 50 percentile, right? And again, we talked about there were I think 44 qualified too. If you unqualified, meaning minimal snaps, include them too, he was like 53rd in the league in adjusted completion percentage. But when you allow him to get on the edge, that's where he, causes problems. So that's the negative. If you've got somebody like Matt Stafford, Jacob, and you bring a cage rush, oh boy, going to little slide in the pocket, a little step up, go to one to the, he'll probably skip the 2, go straight to the 3 and go, I know I got time to throw a little pump, let that thing rip. Pocket passers will eat a cage rush up, but a quarterback that that hardly ever gets to the 2nd and 3rd read, that cage rush makes them antsy because the clock is going off in their head like, oh crap, I'm running out of time, and they panic.
Yeah.
And again, play the outside half of Caleb. He's going to give you that jab step. He's going to give you a jab step inside when you're containing, and those guys always bot to the inside shoulder, and he's out of the pocket. With a cage rush, you say, I will allow him to step up in the pocket and beat me on the inside, but he's not going to beat me on the edge. Because now what he's got to do is step up into the D tackles compressing that cage rush, and now he's got to reset and try to fire the football as opposed to – I'm telling you, man, it's so frustrating watching defenses play it. Cleveland did it last week too. Every time he drops back to pass, if the first read's gone, he's looking to jab in and roll out. And every time those defenders, it's like, I'm sitting back going, I am a dumb redneck that's watched tape this week, and everybody can see that's what he wants you to do is to miss inside. That's what he wants you to do. And people just continue to do it.
I saw a chart. I was spinning through. I saw a chart. He was like 53% on his first read, and then he was the highest scramble rate at like 23% or 24% of his snaps. That's over 75% of his snaps is either first read or scramble. Like, that's me playing college football. I mean, come on now. We can't be doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Just real quick, Packer Doug says, my dad used to say couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a scoop shovel. Now, just real quick, what is the implication that it's easy to hit a bull in the butt with a mop? And have you done that?
Jacob, listen, I don't need PETA after me, okay? with that being said, imagine you were standing in a stable, all right? Because you've asked this question several times.
I just want to picture it.
In a stable and there's a bull sitting there. How much do an average bull weigh? Somebody hit me up on the chat there. Imagine this big ass bull sitting there in the middle, right? And you've got a mop. Could you walk up and hit that bull in the ass with that mop, you think?
So you're not throwing the mop. You're just going up and tapping them with the...
Could you throw the mop and hit the bull in the ass if it's standing 5 feet away in a stable?
I think I could. I'd hope I could.
Jacob, could you hit the broadside of a barn?
I have.
You've hit the broadside of a barn?
Could you hit sand if you fell off a camel? Right. All this stuff applies, Jacob. I love that Jacob thought it was from 30 yards away. It would be hard.
That's what I was. I'm like pocket passing. The bull's running a route right on the butt.
No,
easy peasy.
The things we talk about here, man. So, not a bull, not a bear. It's funny too that basically the shovel, same thing, right? Same thing applies. So I love it.
Makes more sense. It's got a heavier. The mop doesn't seem aerodynamic. That was my whole thing. It's fine. It's fine. Tim, any thoughts?
No. Yeah, I got a thought. What the hell are we talking about right now? I thought.
Tim's thinking, does Nerf make a mop? Maybe do they have Nerf footballs? Right?
Dude.
Unbelievable. So yeah, I like this. J Dome. I think he's a Packer fan. I don't know if he's a Bears fan. I don't like. He says we get no turnovers. Calling it right now, or is he saying we don't force any turnovers? Is that what he's saying there? Because if we don't turn the ball over, we win this ball game. I'm just telling you right now. If we come out of this with a big goose in the turnover column on offense, we're good to go, man. So,
I think so too.
Yeah. And again, man, when you look at some of their turnovers, like that turnover last week, one of them, Shedeur Sanders was marching them down the field, the Browns down the field, and he throws a ball. Did you guys see that pick? It was the most fluky pick I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, it was just – I don't know how it ended up in the DB's hands. And I found myself – I literally said out loud, those lucky bastards. Mm-hmm. But then I'm thinking, it can't be luck at this point. They just got to be good at taking the ball away because they continue to do it week in and week out. Drives me crazy. So, like Jesse swerving right on cue. Luck. So, yeah. Anything else? I thought it was a dot too, Jay, if you're talking about that Shedeur Sanders throw. As soon as he left his hand, I was like, oh, that's going to be right on the money, man. Somehow it ended up in the DB's hands. So, next stop.
Do you mind if I ask a question or Joe Pack Joe asked another question? He's asking, can you run Joker with Cox?
That
well, Jacob does every weekend.
I'm trying to be professional, guys. Yeah, I got Emilio sending private chats. Come on.
Hilarious. Yeah, Emilio always takes it out. I look over, like, what's red over there? And I look, 13 private chats. I don't even want to know. I ain't going in there. I need the brain cells. All right. Now, can you? Yeah, you can do that with Brenton Cox Jr. Although I don't think they'll design the game plan. Not that you're saying that, Joe, but I don't think they'll design the game plan like, all right, when we run Joker, let's put Brenton Cox Jr. out there, right? We've seen a little bit of Enigbare playing Joker last week, right? I personally, they run a lot of outside zone runs, so I want our best run defending edge defenders to be on the outside to help set that edge against those stretch plays. Okay, that's first and foremost. So when you get in those situations where you're playing Joker in a 3rd and long, right, you're wanting somebody who can push the middle of the pocket. Here's the thing, though. If you play the Joker look, that's kind of the opposite of the cage rush. So with the cage, I would rather us steer clear of the Joker look. Not that you don't run it the entire, at all, but what you want to do is put yourself in a position to where you've got 2 wide nines that's containing, that's running that cage rush this week at least. Next week it might be different, but you got Lamar next week, so probably not there either. You know what I'm saying, Emilio? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like if you get too aggressive in the middle, yes, you're pressing the middle of the pocket, but if you've only got 2 defenders out there, Caleb's going to be able to make those guys miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where I'm at. Of you can have those 2 wide nines if you want. Technically, yeah, you could do a Joker if you say you're only bringing 3 and your Joker and Enigbare, and he's standing up just right over the center, but you have your 2 wide nines. I mean, they got running lanes in between the tackle and guard, but again, that could be all of this kind of hinges on where the offense is. If the offense can get that thing spinning, and we're in good shape, maybe we get a lead again. Then maybe they can't, lean on the run as much. If their running back's out, all those things are going to play into it. But yeah, you're going to want to. I'd rather Caleb have to weave through a guard and the center going upfield towards Quay, towards Coop, whoever it is, and then have to break left or right. I'd force them to scramble more. I don't care. But it's got to be inside the hash, inside the tackle box, whatever.
Yeah. I like what Alan says here in the chat. Run Joker wide left cage. Caleb wants to go right. I love what you're saying there. He does love the roll right. He can roll left too, and he's less accurate throwing across his body going to the left. So I completely agree. Maybe that is the way that you approach those third and long situations where you go, you know what, pin your ears back on Caleb's left side, cage rush on the right, And typically the way the Packers will do that is you may have like a wide 9 and then you got like, say, a 3-tech on that side. They'll run a little stunt, right, where the 3-tech will crash out and he'll take the guard and the guard into the tackle, and then the other guy will loop around and try to get pressure on Caleb, right? Well, if you do that, he goes to roll right, and you got to contain with a cage rush on the right. Now he's kind of, oh crap, he's caught no man's land, right? But again, that D tackle has got to be prepared that as he crosses the face of the guard and the tackle, he's got to be able to get outside leverage as quick as possible. Because if Caleb does decide to scramble in that direction, and you're playing anything other than spot drop, he's up the left side. He's looking to run left, tuck the ball and run left. He's looking to buy time going right and throw the football. If that makes sense. So that's a great point. I'm glad he brought that up.
Yeah, because you could if you had 4 down, Clay, what if you ran a 9-7 and a 5 overload on one side? You got your edge over there, maybe at a 7-ish, 9-ish, and all right, you're giving up a lot in the middle. But if it's a 3rd and 12,
right,
I'm with it.
I'm glad you said
away that boot action from him.
Yeah, yep, that's it too, Tim. Right, that boot got us a couple times too.
It did, yeah, and that's why I understand what Joe was saying earlier. Like when he runs that boot, just forget the run for a second and tee off on Caleb. I get that, but you're kind of playing into their hand too, because when he hands that ball off and you're down a hat, you know what I mean? That can be tough because they'll run a misdirection too. And we've seen Swift and we've seen Mononga multiple times bounce that thing out opposite direction, just like Josh Jacobs does. So I love that we're having this conversation because I do think it really, as you're talking about it, you're talking it through, you're kind of workshopping it. You can say, yeah, we go do that. Yeah, let's go do that. But immediately you think, that's going to leave this open, So it's going to be fun to see how Jeff Hafley kind of approaches this game, and I think it's going to be an exciting game. I'm telling you, prime time Saturday night, everybody going to be boozed up. Come on, dude. It's going to be dominant. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome, man.
I like paging Dr. Crutch's comment. He says, "Will I be wearing the Coop jersey to my stepmother's dinner party tomorrow?" Oh yes.
Oh yes, I will.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked in that.
Do you think there's a chance that Coop could be the player of the game? All of a sudden, it seems like he's been turning it on in the last few weeks, and do you think we see him all of a sudden plant his not saying that he's obviously not the same type of player, even position as Micah, but is he kind of take over that true captain type player on the defense and kind of the heart and soul?
Cooper is playing great this year, 76.2, right? He's the 13th highest graded stack backer. Coop has been playing coverage all year long, just kind of dropping back. And why? Because you're letting Micah pin his ears back and go after the quarterback. Well, now you're back to 2024 Green Bay Packers defense. What did we do last year? You'd be firing Cooper on rushes and dropping the opposite side out into coverage, right? Fire zone blitzes, simulated pressures, even though it's still a 4-man rush. And that's why you've seen Cooper getting those sacks last year. It's why you've seen Cooper always in the backfield. I think that's what you're going to see. Now, do you want to do it against Caleb? I don't know. Because, again, you're flushing him out of the pocket with a 4-man rush. If you got eyes on the quarterback, everybody should be able to contain. But also, like we showed last week on the tape, Bullard had to make a decision. Do I go with the flat or do I go with the quarterback that was scrambling, right? That's another aspect to it too. So, but yeah, I think Cooper, you're going to see Cooper's production, right, go through the roof, I think, with Micah Parsons being out now. They're going to start to utilize him, not like Micah as just a true pass rusher, but you're going to mix and match those, I believe.
He is a G.
Will be lassoing his opportunity, Jacob. Yes, I think he is going to go off this week.
Okay.
That's right. That is right.
What do you guys think about Packer Doug's comment saying he doesn't want McDuffie dropping into coverage too often? Is he still scoring pretty decent on PFF style there, Clayton, or is he kind of taking a step back?
Yeah, and here's the thing: like he's got to drop into coverage. Like there's no scenario where McDuffie's just going to blitz or play the run all day long. He's got to drop into coverage, right? The problem we ran into was Quay got hurt and left. And you notice that they did not try to attack the seam while Quay was in the game. You notice that?
Yeah.
But then the second that Quay leaves the game, and listen, you guys know I've been vocal. I don't think Quay Walker has played like a first-round pick. I want to be very, very, very clear on how I feel about this. But what I've always said since day one, what Quay Walker does good is cover the seam vertically. He is great at that. I mean, great at it. Well, the second that he gets out of the game, what happens? They attack the seam on McDuffie, and we broke it down on Chalk Talk. It looked like it may have been a Tampa 2 call, right? It was an invert. It was a half invert look where the corner has a deep half and then the safety has the other deep half, and it looked like the mock was supposed to sink. Honestly, it looked like a half invert cover 2 sink, what we call sink, where they sink even deeper into the coverage, and it was a tight window. But if you've got Quay back there standing at however tall he is, what is he, 6'4", 6'5",
6'4",
and just an athletic freak, you're probably not trying to hum that tater down the seam. You probably don't even call that play where they ran a scissors concept. And it was a tight window throw anyway. You watch that play, it wasn't like, oh, man, McDuffie screwed up. It's just
He just didn't get the depth. Yeah. They ran a great play, and he didn't get enough depth. I'm okay with McDuffie in coverage when it's compressed, when you're talking 10, 15, 20 yards. But if you're talking having to backtrack and run up the field with a tight end or make a play on a receiver deep, that's when you have concern. And that's where I think, to your point, Clay, I'd rather see Quay Walker out there in those situations. So saying like McDuffie not dropping into coverage too often, I mean, I guess I would agree, but you're going to see it. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah, it's
pretty
it's
often
in
the game.
90% of his assignment, Tim, is that hook curl, right? That's just what it is.
And he's improved at that.
He's
improved at his coverage skills. I mean, really since last year. I mean, it's not like we're talking about a liability right now. We're talking about someone who, maybe isn't, coverage is not his strong suit, but I think he's more than, capable.
No, that's true, Tim. I was looking 22. His coverage grade was a 56.7, 23, 55.5, 24, 46.4, 25. He's a 66.2 right now.
Yep.
That's
overall defensive grade. 74.4. He's the 23rd highest graded linebacker. Run defense 73.5. That's 28th best. And then, like you said, the coverage grade, Emilio, 66.2 is good. It's the 21st. That's the 21st best coverage grade among stack backers. That's right. Hands down.
66 is one more than
65%.
65%. That's correct, sir. That is correct. Yeah. So Jacob, I think that McDuffie's fine. I think he's fine. I do. I think he's played better than Quay. But again, that one specific play, it's like if you were to draw it up and go, all right, who do you want playing Mike right? Who do you want covering the seam right? I'm saying Quay, right? And again, it's just a heck of a throw and a catch there on that scissors concept. That was a tight window throw. When I went back and watched it, I was just like, man, Bo Nix, he hung him out there. He laid him out there like, what game was that when Matt LaFleur came walking with him in the wheelbarrow? Amelia, you know what I'm talking about.
Thanksgiving after a Detroit Lions game. Yeah, Matt needed the wheelbarrow to get in the house.
That's right. That's what it looked like with Bo Nix threading that needle. And, he throws that pass, and you like Carrington being that half invert, the deep half. You'd like to see him play that a little snugger. But at the same time, it's like, man, that's a hell of a throw and catch for sure. So, yeah. Anything else, boys? Anything at all? The chat's been on fire, man. Appreciate everybody.
Just one more from R.E. Ironmeyer. He says, I've been hearing how the Packers are young and demoralized by these injuries, and the Bears are feeling good. I think our boys are going to come out with a chip, or as he like to say, the piss are hot.
Oh, dude, listen, everybody is talking like the Bears. Oh, Packers don't stand a chance of this one. I love it, dude. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Because there would be nothing better for me than to go out there and go, all right, guys, we're banged up. Let's rest these guys here. Let's make sure they're healthy for Baltimore. Let's get ready for the playoff run. And you go out there missing even more starters, and then you still beat Chicago in Chicago when Chicago doesn't know if they're going to be in Chicago because Chicago don't want the Bears in Chicago, which is absolutely hilarious to me. There's nothing I would want more than the Bears to have to move to the state of Indiana and just laugh my ass off at that family.
Right. That would be hilarious.
Well, yeah, because their Super Bowl last year was them winning on a field goal or whatever against us last year.
It's our backups.
Yeah, right. So if we sweep them, if we get the brooms out for Detroit and the Bears this year, come on now. I mean, that is just you don't even need to go back at them online. That's it, man, bro. Get any comment a Bears fan makes, you just put a broom in there. Because that's it. That's a wrap. Like they will have to be quiet all off season. You know what I'm saying? Like this game could shut them up for 8 months. That's all I'm saying.
Really, yeah. No,
at least until the draft.
Yeah, well,
be realistic.
If they make a run in the playoffs, all right, fine. You guys did good. But if you don't, if we win here and then you guys go on a little losing streak, what happens if you don't get your turnovers? You don't make it to the playoffs, and then it could all fall apart.
Playoffs? Don't talk.
I think we can change that. You couldn't hit a bear in the ass with a broom. That's going to be the new one right there.
Wow, I like it. Maybe AI could generate you something there, Clay.
I guarantee you it could. I love Ryan's song he put together. I don't know if you guys seen that or not for the Bears.
Yeah.
What was it too? He said something on his pod. What was it? He said the Gary Berries.
Yeah. the Gare Bears, like the Care Bears, but the Gare Bears. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. Hilarious, man.
Yeah, and he had the Kid Cudi one. That one actually bumped. I texted him on that one. I was like, Ryan, that one slapped.
He is a G.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, boys, we've hit it pretty handy. I said let's go 40 minutes tonight, and here we are with a bunch of people in here watching. We're over an hour.
Last comment of the night. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. Keep going.
Jesse Schwerven or Schwerven, whatever. Says the best chat in the stream always. Tons of informative people. Pretty sweet. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, appreciate it, Jesse. Again, man, it's amazing when people don't act like they know everything and just get in there and have a conversation with each other and do it civil, right? You go into some of the other live chats with Packers content, and I'm like, what is going on in the chat? These people hate each other. It's like unbelievable. They just get in there and argue the whole time. So
don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Perfect.
This is something that we do try to take care of, though. You guys know, anybody who's been in our chat for a significant amount of time know if we get a knucklehead in here, their ass is gone quick. They get the boot. All of a sudden, you just stop seeing their comments pop up. It's amazing how that works. So. All right, Tim, you got anything else, man? Anything else you want to hit here in terms of Packers defense against Chicago's offense?
Yeah, the Bears still suck. They always have, always will. And banged up or not, we're going to find a way to get it done with the personnel that we have. I trust in Hafley, Mr. Get Over Here himself.
Get over here!
Built to ass. BTA. Know what I'm saying?
I don't know if he's got the headset on up in the booth now, so he's not on the sideline doing the hand signals, but I fully believe in this defense and this defensive staff. I think that Coach Haff and Coach Covington are going to cook something up for the Bears. We've got enough on film from this team this year, and I think we can get it done tomorrow night. So, hopefully the O-line holds up, but when it comes to the defense, being down some key guys, I feel like we're in a good position to secure a win.
Yeah, completely agree, man. Anything else, boys? Emilio, Jacob, anything at all?
We going live tomorrow?
Absolutely. Tim, I'm showing the kickoff is 8:20 Eastern, right? So 7:20 Central. So we need to go live, say 6 p.m. your all's time. That sound right? About an hour 20 before?
Sounds about right.
All right. So we'll set it for that. Tomorrow, guys, we're going to go live 6 p.m. Central time for the PTA pregame show. We'll give you guys all the latest on actives, inactives, all that good stuff. We'll show you live shots from Soldier Field and all that good stuff, taking you right up to kickoff. And then immediately following the game, I'm glad it's a Saturday night too. Nobody's got to get up too early on Sunday, right? We'll be up late doing the PTA postgame show for what we hope is a huge Packers dub. Win, lose, or draw, we'll be in here talking about it for sure. It's going to be a great day tomorrow. Really excited about the ballgame. I'll probably go live at some point throughout the day if any other information drops. Kind of like the Britton Cox Jr. information earlier today that came out of nowhere. All right, he's going to be active, so we'll just hit live, get you guys that info as quick as possible. So, Emilio, you got anything else, man? You good?
No. Same time tomorrow, everybody. Got in here at 7. You be ready to roll. Be out of here by now probably, and we're good to go.
All right. That's it. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. If y'all would hit that like button, hit subscribe if you were new here. Make sure you click the bell icon so you're notified when we do go live tomorrow for the pregame and the postgame show. For Jacob, Tim, and Emilio, I'm Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.